Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Honkai Star Rail video. So, the big question, should we run speed boots or attack percentage boots on Jing Yuan? Well, Jing Yuan has been out now on the CN server, and of course the best theory crafters over at CN have been thinking about him the entire time. In fact, Jing Yuan has been so damn popular that they crashed the CN payment system for Honkai Star Rail, which is absolutely insane. Well, now in this video, we'll briefly go over the current speed stats for Jin, comparing what the CN theory crafters have come up with, of course, as well as the global one, and take a look at some of the early introduction to the recommendations and team comps behind Jing Yuan. I'm gonna make this into a multi-part series video because, of course, theory crafters are still testing him out, and this is just day one. Things will change, but we've got a lot of the CN sources translated. So huge shout out to Mr. Pokke. If you guys haven't seen Mr. Pokke, he's played Artery Gear as well as Grimlight as a part of our guild. So very fantastic guy, great guides. You probably have read his guides somewhere. So do give him a follow. I have a link down in the description. Check his YouTube channel out. He's a huge Seele simp as well. And again, shout out to Grimo for making the Jing Yuan Ultimate Endgame deep dive. Very informative. So it's always good to see, you know, the best of the global theory crafters going to against the CN ones to see, you know, where we overlap and how it looks like for us. You know, honestly, fantastic community. And before we dive any deeper, just remember that we do have a live stream tonight on the NA server when Jing Yuan's banner goes live. We'll actually be pulling for E6 super imposition 5, so max out Seele, then we're switching to Jing Yuan to max him out Eidolon 6 super imposition 5. But without further ado, let's get to it. So this is the translated CN analysis. I'll have this link document posted once everything is ready. But the question in this video, again, it serves as an introduction to the build of Jing Yuan. You can see that the current early to mid game as well as the end game recommendations are already out. You know, it's the lightning set. We talked about the Sosetto set is best for him, but a lot of the people are questioning whether or not we are running attack percentage boots or speed boots, and what is the reason behind this. So again, this video will be the first video out of a series of videos where we take a deep dive, but I think this is the question that most people are really wondering about, why we are doing speed boots at all. Okay, so let's take a look at the in-game. So Jing Yuan, if you don't know about the mechanics, well, you can test him out when it comes out, but essentially he's built around the Lightning Lord. So you can see the Lightning Lord has a separate entity action bar and whatnot on the racetrack, as we like to call it. And every time Jing Yuan uses a skill or an attack, the Lightning Lord gains a stack that affects the amount of hits per action, as well as affecting the amount of damage he's going to output and his speed. So you can see here, Lightning Lord did, I think that was 5 because I used the skill once. But now if I use Jing Yuan's ultimate, it's going to add another 3 stacks. So base is 3 plus 3 is 6. And if I do AoE again, he's going up to 8. He's going to move up. He's going to get a speed buff as well as hit more the next time around. Okay, so that's why speed actually matters for Jing Yuan versus the other damage dealers, where, you know, you're really just looking at making sure you don't get lapped. Okay, so speed versus attack percentage, this is why we're even having the discussion in the first place, is because him going twice before the Lightning Lord actually matters. So now let's take a look at what the CN guys are recommending. So in the 2 videos, okay, those are the 2 videos. Again, sources is in the document. They discussed in the vacuum situation, so without any supports, what do we have to do for Jing Yuan to go essentially twice before the Lightning Lord? So in the rough calculation, okay, in the vacuum setting, it is 140. Now 140 speed is pretty intense, because if you look at Jing Yuan's base speed, it is not that high. Okay, Jing Yuan's base speed is not that high. If we switch to here, it is 99. So are you going to get 41 speed from Jing Yuan's boots plus the subsets? Not very likely. So in Grimo's calc, he put it as 134 in terms of speed needing to reach. And if you pair up between Yuan, who is E1, so giving that 20% speed buff, you can go even lower than that, like 130-ish, 131. So for that, this is the minimum speed. And of course, to achieve that, you really have to have speed boots, unless you're getting perfect rolls. And honestly, it is much better to run speed boots because you can roll substats much higher in your other gears to compensate for the speed that you're losing out. Okay, it just works out more efficient to have a speed as main stat for the boots, and then if you're needing attack or crit or whatever, you can get it from your substats from the other pieces gears versus running an attack stat boots and then getting the speed substat elsewhere. So that is the first thing to make note. Now, what if we don't want to run a super fast Jing Yuan? What is the speed check here? So this is why I made this video, is because we need to know the breakpoint for Jin if you can't hit that insane amount of speed, right? If you can't hit insane amount of speed. So by this, we need to look at this team comp breakdown, the damage output. Now, this will be in a separate video because there's just too much to cover and there's a lot to discuss, such as, you know, when should you use your auto attacks, when should you use skills, and how do you solve the skill hungry issue of Jing Yuan. So in this video, in this video, for the sole purpose of looking at team comps, we're going to ignore the end game comp, which is Ting Yuan plus Bronya on max speed. We'll ignore that. We want to look at either having a solo support Ting Yuan, which is what Grimo also showcased, or looking at the double support, which is Asta plus Ting Yuan or Ting Yuan plus Bronya. So what is the breakpoint for that? So if you are looking at getting the double turn before your Lightning Lord, again, this is what we're trying to do, right? Because if you can double turn before the Lightning Lord, you will be able to get 2 skills out. So that's plus 4 right in there. And with Ting Yuan, okay, if you use Ting Yuan's technique before the fight, and if you have an energy rope orb on Ting Yuan, you can actually get her to rotate and give that extra energy that Jin sometimes needs to use the ultimate. Because Jin is going to be, if you're Eidolon not max, right, you're going to be just a little bit short in terms of energy to spam E, which is the skill, and then also have the ultimate come up every single time you need it. Okay, you're gonna just be like, I think 10 short. So all in all, the too long didn't read component of this is, if you're not going for the max speed end game, the speed to hit, all right, the speed to hit on your Jin is 116. Okay, if you have asked the E5, or the best, okay, sorry, it should be reversed. If it's 115 for Asta E5, and for everything else it's 116. If you can get 116 and you're running either Bronya plus Ting Yuan or Asta plus Ting Yuan, you'll be able to have a very, very comfortable double Jing Yuan turn before the Lightning Lord. Again, this is not looking at the 130 speed where it's solo Ting Yuan. Okay, if this solo Ting Yuan, you obviously have to aim a bit higher, but because of the Asta speed buff as well as the Bronya push, in either of these comps at 116, you can do it. I won't talk about the end game Bronya, which requires 145 speed and you can get away with 100 speed Jin because they're still testing. But for the general purpose, okay, 116 is the sweet spot you want to hit, and that's very much achievable because you just need a plus 17 speed. Okay, a plus 17 speed, and you can get that from speed boots. So for the early game to mid game players, you can get a speed boot and just plus 9 it, plus 12 it, and you will be able to get, okay, you'll be able to get the speed check you need if you were to run the Asta plus Ting comp or the Bronya plus Ting Yuan comp with Jin. Attack percentage breach is still very viable. You're gonna only face a minimum of, I think, 6 to 8% DPS loss, okay? But if you're not in search of these attack percentage boots and you do have a speed boot lying around, it is very good for you to try and hit that sweet spot of 116 and run the dual support. Of course, it puts a lot more pressure on your remaining unit, which is going to be a tank slash healer, whichever is going to help you with the memory of chaos. But the 116 sweet spot allows you to get that double turn, which you absolutely need, because then you will always have a 9 to 10 stack, okay, a 9 to 10 stack 8, 9, 10 stack Lightning Lord, which is crucial in the damage output, okay, which is very, very crucial. If you're really struggling with running double supports, of course, solo Ting Yuan is the best out of all 3. And also, if you have Bronya, you do want to run it with Seele at its current moment. So this is what I wanted to break down in terms of why people are even considering speed at the moment, okay? The key takeaway message is you want at least double turn before the Lightning Lord, so you get that extra at least 2 if not more stacks, right? Because if you get the ultimate off, it's even more, and that's why speed is very, very important. We do have a breakdown. Okay, we do have a breakdown here. You can see that for all of the supports, you're supposed to run speed boots as well. Of course, they need to go and buff Jing Yuan beforehand, and the Bronya needs to loop, especially in the end game, to move before Jing Yuan's turn, before the Lightning Lord comes up again. So, simple introduction. Hopefully, this answers the question about even why you should be considering speed boots. And the math behind it. We'll definitely do more, basically breaking down the different teams as the Theory Crafter puts things to the test, so we can offer more of an explanation on what the turn order looks like and how do we solve the skill point issue. Because as you can see, we have to spam a lot of auto attacks, and is this going to be optimal if you're gonna basically have 2 units that are auto attacking most of the time? So stay tuned for my channel, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll take a look at a deeper dive into Jing Yuan's team composition next time. Anyhow, it's TimaeuSS here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye now.